Hello, and welcome to the Racine Kenosha Community Action Agency Teaching Kitchen. My name is Andrea, and I'm here with our guest chef, Terra, and she's going to demonstrate a yummy breakfast dish for you. So, Terra, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. What we're going to be preparing today is one of my favorite and my husband's favorite dishes, breakfast poblano peppers. And so the ingredients that we have today that I've already washed and wiped down is we have 2 poblano peppers, we have some cilantro and green onions. Additional ingredients that we have are chorizo, we have eggs, and we have cheese. Now this one is not one of the WIC approved ones, but what you can do to substitute instead is plain mozzarella cheese. It will melt quickly. It'll work very nicely with your dish. If you are looking for a little bit of extra heat, they do now sell in the seasoning section. They have dried jalapeno peppers, and you can add or sprinkle some of that in to amp up the heat. So what we're gonna start with right now is we are gonna start roasting the poblanos. So what you just do is we have cleaned the poblanos. We're just gonna set them on a cookie sheet with parchment paper, and we're gonna pop them in the oven until they brown a little bit and char. So we're gonna do that. And I have the oven preheated to 400 degrees right now. So periodically, I'm just gonna have to peek over there and just see how they are progressing. While the poblanos are roasting, we're gonna start making the chorizo and browning the chorizo. So to do that, we have our tube of chorizo, and I'm just gonna cut the tube. Now I tried doing this without touching it, but it was not successful. So I'll just have to rinse my hands quick to avoid cross-contamination. And we're gonna start getting this brown. Now for those out there who do not like chorizo, you can substitute out with any kind of breakfast sausage. That will work easily as well in this dish. While that is starting to brown, we're gonna crack open a couple of eggs. And with the eggs, once the poblanos are roasted, we're gonna peel them and split them, and we're gonna stuff it with some of the egg and chorizo mix. Now you can feel free to use this as a blank canvas. You can add whatever kind of vegetables that you and your family and your children like. In this case, we're just gonna have the cilantro and green onions, but I've also made different varieties, and those varieties have included, fresh chopped onion, fresh peppers. I've done fresh jalapenos. Any of those things, any flavors that you like can definitely be added into this mix. So you can personalize it to your family's taste. So I'm gonna season the egg batter with some salt. Ooh, I can hear that chorizo sizzling. Wish you could smell it in here. Some fresh ground pepper. And then I'm also gonna add some granulated onion. And I like some heat, so I'm going to add a little bit of cayenne to it. Additionally, these are the items that I chose to cook it with. You can add any seasonings that you want to this, again, to your family's palate. And other ingredients that would work good, it would be a little sprinkle of chili powder, some garlic, red pepper flakes. So I'm just scrambling the eggs. Once I'm done with the chorizo, I'm going to make it a one-pot dish, I will add the eggs to it and scramble them before I put them into the poblanos. What I learned by doing this, and why I recommend scrambling the eggs first, is because I thought I would just do it all in one shot. One time when I first made this, and I put the raw scrambled egg into the poblanos, and I had eggs seeping everywhere. So you do not want to make that mistake. So I at least recommend you scrambling them a little bit so they're a little bit more solid so you don't have a mess on your hand. So we've got the smell of the chorizo in here, we've got the smell of the poblanos roasting, this is the place to be. I was researching recipes a couple years ago, and I found a recipe for a stuffed poblano, but with shredded chicken and some other ingredients in there. And so then I was trying to figure out, okay, well, I had all these ingredients, but it was breakfast time. What can I do that's similar using these ingredients? Because I didn't have chicken and it was breakfast time. So I ended up kind of creating this, and it turned out pretty well. You could also slice up the poblanos after they're done roasting and kind of make it like an egg bake. You can take some of the chorizo, some of the scrambled egg, slice up the poblanos, and whatever other ingredients you have on hand that you like, and you can make breakfast tacos with it as well. And the casseroles and the egg bakes make for great leftovers. If you're not into the eggs, you could do a little bit of a riff on biscuits and gravy, and how you do that would be you use the chorizo, you brown it how you're doing, as we're doing right now, for example. Once it's cooked, add a 1/4 cup of flour, and then after that mixes, add 2 cups of milk, and then whatever seasonings you like, let it mix around until it's completely, warmed up and bubbling a little bit. And you can pour that over some whole grain toast and make a healthy version of a biscuits and gravy. It's one of my favorite things about breakfast. It's so versatile and you can do so many different things with it. I'm going to turn off the chorizo. I think it's done satisfactory. It looks like that. And because I don't get to do dishes, I'm just going to leave it in one pot. And keep it up. And I'm going to add the eggs to it. I'm going to start scrambling the eggs. They'll take on a little bit of that chorizo flavor as well. Which can never be a bad thing. So we've got the eggs here. I'm just scrambling them. Remember that they're already seasoned, so there's salt, pepper, cayenne, and onion powder in these so far. And if you can feel free to add whatever ingredients you like. So they're scrambling up really nicely because the pan is already hot. And that looks like it's about done. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to check on the poblanos again. They're starting to get a little charred. I'm just going to flip them over so they can brown evenly on all sides. While that is finishing up cooking, I'm just going to dice up some vegetables that we're going to use. And so I'm going to dice up some green onions. What I'm going to do with the green onions is I'm going to use it as a topper after the cheese is melted after the baking process. Set that off to the side. And then grab some cilantro. I'm just going to dice that up too. Well, we don't have any today. After the eggs too, I also sometimes like to put a little bit of crema on there or sour cream. Both of those things add a nice finishing touch to it as well. Okay, and there, as you can see, the peppers are starting to char. And so I just want them a little bit more charred before we finish working with them. So we're pulling these out of the oven a little bit early. At home I have an electric stove, and so I tend to bake them, but you can also, with the gas, you can use tongs, metal tongs, and just kind of flip it over the flame, and that will get this process done a lot quicker than what I am showing you today. And so also normally we put these in a plastic bag and to peel them a little bit, make it easier to peel, but I'm gonna just kind of scrape it today. And take a little bit of a shortcut. This side already split open from the baking process, so this is the part I'm gonna just cut open for the egg bake. So I'm just gonna cut it open it up a little bit. It's very hot, careful. I'm just gonna pull out the seeds as best as I can. If there's some still in there, it doesn't bother me. I will eat it regardless. But I try to clear it out a little bit. So as you can see, it's cut open. I've peeled most of the seeds out. And I'm just gonna lay it back onto the baking sheet. So I've got one completed. I'm just gonna scrape the second poblano. I'm gonna slice this one open again. Pull out some of the seeds. Again, fill it with chorizo. We got our chorizo in there. We're gonna put some egg in there. And as you can see, I'll show you what they look like. This is what they look like so far. And we're gonna sprinkle on with some cheese. Any cheese that you have will work. Again, mozzarella will melt beautifully and is WIC approved. And we're just gonna pop them in the oven just so that cheese gets a little bit melty and gooey. We got our finished poblanos right there. I'm going to put one on a plate. And on top of these, we are going to sprinkle our green onion. Press it in there, make sure it sticks if you want. Gonna put a little bit of fresh cilantro. And this would be where you can put some sour cream or crema on there as well. And then I like mine topped with a little Cholula or any hot sauce that your family likes. And voila, breakfast is served.
Well, thank you so much, Tara. Those look gorgeous and they do smell gorgeous. And maybe someday we'll do it again.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. Thank you all for being a part of it.